It's the Eagle Community Television Forum with your host, Gary Shorman.
Welcome to the Eagle Forum. I'm Mike Kerner, and for Gary Shorman this week, our guest is Lisa McGrath. The forum, by the way, brought to you by Hayes Med. Lisa is an author, a local author, and we want to talk to her a little bit about her book and kind of growing up and stuff like that. Your book has just come out. Growing up, did you ever think you were going to be an author?
No. In fact, I never even considered it to be a possibility, actually.
Well, you were a Fort Hays grad, so growing up, what did you want to become?
Growing up, I knew I wanted to do something in the medical field. My mom was in the medical field, and I enjoy working with people and helping people. And so I had done a lot of research on the medical field and different careers, and I had decided that I wanted to go into radiology. So Fort Hays has an outstanding radiology program. So that's what I came here to Fort Hays to major in, was radiology, and did in fact get my degree here in radiologic technology and medical diagnostic imaging.
So you're from the Healy area. So that's where you grew up, big town of Healy.
Yes, huge town of Healy. Yes, I grew up in Healy.
So what was the life growing up in Healy like for you?
My childhood was great. Growing up in a small town was wonderful. I don't know any different, obviously, but it was great. Community support. I had a lot of family that lived there, so that was fun to grow up with my family close by. I mean, I was involved in pretty much everything they offer at a small school. Sports, music, you name it, I was involved in it. So.
Did some of these early years being in Healy and also Fort Hays State University come into play and help you go back when you were writing this book and use some of those memories and inspiration, or is a book about something totally different?
No, I do talk in the first part of my book about my past and kind of growing up, and it really kind of leads into how I demonstrate how my childhood was, I would say, fairly normal and happy. I didn't really ever face a lot of challenges, I would say, as a child and a young adult, and so then that leads into when I started to face challenges in life, and then that's kind of what the book then centers around.
So the book is about challenges in your life or challenges in a lot of people's lives?
Well, the book specifically is about my life and the life of my current husband. But I feel like a lot of people can relate on some level to some of the situations I talk about in my book, as well as some of the mechanisms and tools that I have used to approach those struggles and challenges in life.
Well, I know we've teased it a little bit about your book, and your book is just recently been brought out. Why don't we do this? We'll take a quick break. We found out about you, and what we want to do is take a quick break because I'm interested in this book, and I'm sure the viewers are interested in it as well. So we'll get back to that in a second, okay?
Sure.
So going back to a commercial break right now, Lisa McGrath, a local author, is with us today, and we're going to talk about her book, which is called The Journey Between Us, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. It's time for a break brought to you by Hayes Med.
Hayes Med is your first and best choice for healthcare. They're the only facility providing tertiary level services in this region. With more than 70 physicians and 26 specialties ranging from heart, orthopedic, spine care, cancer, obstetrics and gynecology, wound care, rehabilitation and surgery, including the Da Vinci robotic surgery, Hayes Med is your comprehensive health provider for people throughout Western Kansas. Hayes Med, helping people be healthy.
Eagle Communications is your ultimate business partner. We provide business class phone with customizable features and fast, reliable internet. Your knowledgeable team at Technology Solutions has a broad base of IT services to meet your needs. Let the experts at Marketing Solutions get your message to the right people on the best platforms. The only piece missing is your business. Call Eagle Communications today at 877-61-EAGLE.
Hi everyone, this is Gerard Welbrock inviting you to join us for Tiger Talk. We record it over the noon hours, Mondays at Old Chicago, north of the interstate in Hays, and play back at 6 o'clock Monday nights on Tiger Radio Mix 103. You can also catch it on Eagle TV's channel 14 and 614, Tuesday and Wednesdays at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m., and always on HaysPost.com. So join us for Tiger Talk over the noon hour Mondays at Old Chicago.
Welcome back to the Forum. I am Mike Kerner in for Gary Shorman this week. By the way, if you have a show idea, Gary would love to hear from you. That's gary.shorman@eaglecom.net. Let's move on to Lisa now. And we talked about you growing up in Healy, Kansas, talked about you being a 4 days grad. You also working in the rad tech field now. The book, how'd this book come about, and what was the inspiration for the book?
Sure. Well, the book started as a journal. I faced a very serious challenge in my life about 10 years ago now. We were, my first husband, his name was Jason, we were living in Scott City. I had gone to Fort Hays, got a job, met him here, we were married, had our son, and I had the opportunity to take a job out in Scott City, which would put me back closer to home and my family, and so we moved out there. And a couple years after being out there, we became pregnant with our second child, and I had been invited to a baby shower in my honor in Healy. And so on the way home from that baby shower that evening, we were involved in a deer-related accident. And that deer-related accident resulted in the passing of my husband. And so through that, and then the events that followed, the book started as a journal, just basically to help recount my memories and a healing process. And then I felt a calling to go ahead and proceed with publishing it and sharing my story.
Well, sorry to hear that about your first husband. I didn't expect that, and so a lot of people won't expect that. And so, does the book start out with that incident?
Well, once I have given a little bit of history about myself and growing up, I do tell the story of the accident, and then Jason's passing, and then obviously the weeks and months after that. And then I guess what you might call the happy twist to the book was about a month after Jason passed away, I was introduced to a man whose wife had also passed away. They were living here in Hays, and she had a heart condition, and she had passed out in the bathroom one morning, and he found her, and she had to be revived, and unfortunately she was down too long, and so they flew her to KU, but her quality of life would have been very low, so they had to make a quality of life decision, and she then passed away. So about a month after that, I learned of him through my sister-in-law. My first husband's sister was very good friends with his wife, my husband now's wife, and so she had told me about the situation. And because of all the people that reached out to me and helped me in my time of need, and the fact that here I was this man who was, suddenly widowed with children, and I was widowed with children, I just felt compelled to send him a sympathy card. And so I sent him that sympathy card and included my email address, and a few weeks after he received the card, he emailed me, and we started an email correspondence. So I like to joke that we met on the internet because it was technically through email. But we became very good friends and a support system for one another. And although it moved fairly quickly, and it surprised and shocked us, and we honestly didn't even think that it would be possible, we developed feelings for one another, and a relationship formed.
Now, we talk about your husband's passing, and you're writing this from your perspective in the journal. Does some of your husband's experiences, your current husband's experiences, come into this journal as well?
Yes, yes. So I share a lot of his story with his first wife and what happened with her, and then of course I talk about our coming together, and then I then go into the blending of our family, our marriage, and I obviously my children and I moved back to Hays, and we blended families, and then we didn't just live happily ever after as we would have liked to, and so the book doesn't end there either. It goes on to talk about I started to have some health problems, and then we had a surprise pregnancy that actually wound up being helpful to my health problems. So I talk about that in the book, and then I talk about how we had our child together. So now we have 5 kids. So Yeah.
So is this a book kind of more of a not mental health, but one of those to help people heal, or is it more of a spiritual book? Would you say?
I would say it's a spiritual book. Once I've told basically the story part of it, the end of the book, the last few chapters, I really share a lot of personal scriptures and ways that helped me overcome my grief. Not just grief, but other struggles. So that's where I said I feel like it can be an inspiration to people no matter what they're going through or no matter what they might be facing. But it really does focus a lot on my faith and how important my faith is to me and how much it grew through this process. And so that's kind of how the book ends then.
So if people want to know more about this book, just to read it and learn about what you went through, what your current husband went through, how would they get the book? And I mean, you've got it published now and it's out. So
Sure.
how do people get it?
Well, it's available on Amazon. It's available through Westbow Press, which is the publishing company. It's also available on Barnes & Noble. I'm also happy to provide people with a copy if they want to reach out and contact me as well. So.
Okay, so how would they get in touch with you?
I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook page that's actually public. It's called Lisa McGrath, Joy in the Journey. So they can reach out to me through there, or they can find me on Facebook.
Very
yeah.
good. Well, thank you for sharing your story, and I hope people can go out there and get the book, whether it's Amazon or through maybe some of your other sources, and read about your journey, and maybe it'll help them too.
Right, absolutely.
And that's probably what it was more about, not only your therapy, but helping other people as well.
Yes.
So
yes.
Thanks for coming and joining us today. Again, it's Lisa McGrath, author of The Journey Between Us. So again, you can go out there and reach out for that book. Maybe it's something people can use here before the holidays.
Absolutely. I've been selling a lot of books as gifts, so
Very
it's
good.
exciting.
So this is The Forum. Thanking Lisa. I'm Mike Kerner, and for Gary Shorman this week, this is The Forum, brought to you by Hayes Med. Have yourself a great week.